What's up, guys? So continuing on with my Black Metal CD collection. Last episode we left off at Absu, so we are continuing on with the A's. After this, probably one more pug worth of A's, and then we'll start to the B's. So yep. But first, what we were listening to is a band that within the I guess you could say YouTube metal scene or whatever. I don't think they get nearly the amount of attention I think that they deserve. This is Gra Vintier with Death Wings Widespread. So, fast, melodic Swedish black metal. This is from 2020. Their debut was 2015, I believe. So, yeah, definitely killer band. I don't think it's nearly the amount of attention that they deserve. But all their albums are awesome, but this one is definitely one of their best. So, check it out. Gra Vintier, Death Wings Widespread. Obviously, we'll be talking about them more when I get to the G's. And this is put out through Cardinal Records, if you're wondering. Alrighty, so I got 5 albums from one of my favorite bands from the Greek scene, Acarantis. So I'm missing quite a few because they have like 10 or 11. They actually put out their newest one like a couple weeks ago, but I'm still waiting for a US distributor copy of the physical, so we'll see about that. But anyway, I think they are one of the few bands where, like, the further you go in the discography, they actually get better and better with each release, so it's pretty impressive that a band gets stronger instead of going, like, downhill, they go actually this way, which is cool. So, hang on, let me pull this out because the damn glare. So this one is Universal Ops to something. They always have some weird Greek translations of this stuff, and they use the worst typing ever, so I can't. Universal Obstinance, I think is what it's called. So this is like their 3rd or 4th record, but this isn't one of their best, but it's still a killer record nevertheless. And they are definitely a pretty unique band within the Greek scene, mainly because they do not sound Greek at all. They're definitely almost like, I guess you could say like Abigail would be a good comparison. So thing I mentioned Abigail last time, but yep, awesome record. So I'm sure I butchered the name, but whatever. And then this one is actually one of my favorites of their like earlier ones. This is Amenti, Catacomb Chants, and Aneronic Visions. So this album is almost an hour long, but it doesn't feel like it. It goes by pretty fast, which is sweet because some albums definitely overstay their welcome, and luckily this one does not. Here's the CD too. This is put out through WTC, so that's sweet. Acarantis performs occult, medieval, spiritual art exclusively, so that's pretty funny on the back it says that. But yeah, man, definitely one of the better ones of the like first half of the discography. So Amenti, Catacomb Chants, and Aneronic Visions. Then we have Formulas of Reptilian Unification Part 1, because that's like a 3-part series. I don't have Part 3, I think I only have the first 2 parts, but this is definitely my preferred of the 3 parts of this series. Love that cover art. Whatever, you get the idea. Again, this one's put out through WTC, which is who they did all of these represses except the most recent one I have that's not put out through WTC. So there you go. And this one is called Maion, M-A-I-O-N. But it's, like I said, it's part 1 of the Formulas of Reptilian Unification Trilogy. So there's that. And then part 2. This one is Armata, whatever that says. So that's helpful. Then the back again, WTC. And I believe Acarantis is just a one-man project, or at least early on they were, but obviously when they play live, they have a full band, but I know it's like, I think just the mastermind of one guy, mainly. So, yep. Formulas of Reptilian Unification Part 2, or Amarta, whatever that says. And then the most recent one that I have, this is the 7 Tongues of Amun. AHM, that weird O thing. So my favorite record by them, I'm actually missing. It's like, I think it's the 2 in between these records are my 2 favorites, so I'll get them eventually, but they're not exactly hard to find. I just need to do that. This was the first one I heard by them, because there's a website I use that's very helpful for finding like new black metal stuff, and this was one of the albums recommended when I went to the Greek section. And I thought the cover art was awesome, so yep, this was definitely what made me a fan. And they are honestly maybe my favorite Greek black metal band, which is probably an odd choice because they don't sound Greek at all, but oh well. Maybe that's why I like them so much, because they were definitely a more unique band within the scene. They don't sound like one of the bajillion rotting Christ or Verathron clones. They actually have their own unique sound, which is pretty awesome. And then this one is put out through Holocaust Records. I've never heard of that label. I know they're signed to a different label now who's putting out their stuff, but I'm waiting for a US sister to get a copy of the newest one. But yep. So there you go. Acarantis, like I said, you can't go wrong, but honestly, I would say start backwards, because I think they're like new materials stronger, so like go like backwards instead of chronologically if you want to get into them. But yeah, Acarantis, awesome band. Hopefully I can get the new one soon. Alrighty, so like I said, we're going to Finland. This is Aether. I think that's how you say it. So I have 4 albums by them. I'm missing the most recent one, but I'll get that eventually. So this is their debut, Parallaxis. No, Priaxis, my bad. So these guys sound like a less atmospheric, more aggressive Cosmic Church, maybe would be a good comparison for these guys. They're definitely super Finnish. You can tell instantly they are from that part of the country, but there's something with all those bands, and the way they use melodicism is very unique within that country's scene. So there's a fun of that. Put out through the Sinister Flame, which actually got these all from Dark Descent, which is kind of interesting, because I don't really picture Dark Descent being a black metal distro or whatever, because I usually think of them being like death metal or doom, but oh well. Nothing much on this one, just the lyrics. But a couple cool pictures too. There you go. Parallaxis. Then we have Genosis, Gnosis. So this one came out in, I think these are all recent-ish. They're between like 2015, 2023 is when these all came out. So I'm not going to exactly guess the year on this one, but it's not important. Here's the J code for this one. More lyrics. They're actually in English, which is nice. I figured they would be singing in their native tongue, but no. Cool pictures too. Again, put out through the Sinister Flame. Not familiar with anything else that label has signed to them, but if it's like this, I'll definitely get into it. Yep, there we go. And then we have, in my opinion, their strongest so far. This is Apotheosis. So if you want to get into Aether, this is definitely the one I suggest, but well, either one of these two, but this one is still my favorite of the 5 so far. I mean, definitely the best artwork too. That's pretty close, but I still prefer that one. And let's pull this out. More lyrics, simple pictures. Again, put out through the Sinister Oath, like I said for all of these. There we go, Apotheosis. Definitely the one I suggest if you want to get into them. But all their albums have been awesome so far. And then this is Pilgrimage. Their second most recent, like I said, I'm missing their newest one, but I'll get to that eventually. Yep, still put out through the Sinister Oath. Or the Sinister Flame. I keep saying Sinister Oath. Whatever, my bad. Again, more lyrics. So man, if you like great riffy black metal with awesome melodies, some cool, a little bit of keyboards, great riffs, killer vocals, check out Aether. Definitely one of the better modern Finnish bands. Great stuff. Dr. Stenstell has copies of all of those ones. I'm not sure where to get the newest one, but I can't imagine it's very hard to find. Here's a one-off, or at least I don't have the newest one from this band yet. This is Akamaka. I'm sure I butchered that. This is the Embers of the Stars. Put out through Bindrune and Nordvist 2013, and the most recent one came out this year, so definitely a decent sized break. But if you know Bindrune and Nordvist, you definitely know what this sounds like. It's super atmospheric, kind of lush sounding black metal from, I believe, the United States. I'm not gonna guess which state they're from, so I will definitely get that wrong, but oh well. This definitely isn't a style of black metal I gravitate towards very often, but when I'm in the mood for that, this is definitely an awesome record. I just haven't spun this one in a while, but yep. There you go. Akamaka, the Embers to the Stars. Like I said, I'm sure I butchered the band name, but oh well. You're going to staying in the US. I got 2 from Achilles, so I have Melanos and what's this one called again? House of the Black Geminis. So I have the Dreaming Ion LP, so that's why I'm not showing that one, obviously. Which that one I still think is their magnum opus, but these two are definitely no slouches. But like I said, the Dreaming Eye is still, I think, their best moment so far. But this came out in 2022 or 21, somewhere around there. Because I know House of Black Gemini was last year. So I was supposed to see them live, but they canceled last minute, unfortunately, which sucks because they would have been awesome to see. But oh well, hopefully I get to see them someday. I know their first record was more like a purely dark ambient album, which it's okay, but the Dreaming Island, they basically dropped most of that and they became a super like evil sounding black metal. So they were definitely one of the more like evil sounding bands from the US, though I'm not really a like very big expert on the US scene, so I may be speaking out of my ass, but oh well. Yep, awesome record. You could tell they used to be a dark ambient band. There's still a little bit of that, but it's more for like interludes and creepy soundscapes and actually being like a forefront part of the music. It's definitely like super, just more black metal focused than their earlier stuff, but anyway, there you go. Achilles, Melanos. And then House of Black Gemini. I didn't like this one as much as Melanos or The Dreaming Eye, but it's still a awesome record nevertheless. And let me see. Yeah, this one's put out through Deborah and so was this one, which I've said before, Deborah is definitely one of the best labels, and if they offer the mail order service where you just pay, like they take money out of your account every month, I would automatically sign up for their remotey if they did that service. So if anybody's watching, start doing that. I will sign up immediately. I always trust that label, putting out interesting material. So there you go. That's the fun of that. I know the light sucks in here, I'm sorry, but it's all I can do, so whatever. CD, there you go. And then let's show the lyric book. I love the logo too. That's sweet. Man, I know the lighting sucks in here. You can't really see this very good, but oh well. Just lyrics and some creepy pictures. So like I said, if you want to get into Achilles' Dreaming Eyes, still I think they're magnum opus, but these two are awesome too, so you can't go wrong with either of these though. But yep, there you go. So Melanos and the House of Black Gemini. Alrighty, last band from today, we are going to France. Aldderon. So I have all 5 of their albums, so let's start from the beginning. This is Non Revenedros Immortalis. I'm sure I butchered that, but if you do not know Aldderon, they are a, I guess you could say, pagan black metal band from France. They were definitely, you could tell they were influenced by a lot by like Bathory and like other pagan, well, Bathory's not pagan, but you get the idea. If you like stuff like Odal, Ancestors' Blood, a little bit of Bosom, but not like super repetitious, but you know what I mean. Definitely in that style. Or stuff like Belanos is also another good comparison. Though I honestly greatly prefer these guys to Belanos, but it's just me. I'm sure it might be a hot take, but oh well. And you guys got the 2 guys. This is put out through, I want to say Paragon. That's where I got this from, but I don't remember. It doesn't say what label did this. So that's not very helpful. Oh well. So there you go. There's their debut. And then this is Supreme Silence. Their second record. Yeah, Paragon. Yeah, Paragon did all of these, so I'm assuming they also did the debut records. This is where I bought this from, because they had like a 5 CD bundle, so I bought all of them from that bundle thing. So I'm assuming they did the debut also, but here's their second ones. Like I said, Supreme Silence. This isn't a bad thing, but if you hear one of the records, they're kind of like pretty similar throughout the discography, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So it's definitely the old notion of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yep, Supreme Silence. And then Arcane Mountain Cult. Their third record. This came out in, I don't remember what year this is, 2010s, I'm assuming. And then this, honestly, hard to pick a favorite either between this or the album after. But like I said, you can't go wrong with any of them. So if you like one of the records, you will probably like the rest. So you can just pick one at random. If you enjoyed that, go ahead and listen to the rest. You'll enjoy those too. I love the logo too. So simple but awesome. You definitely can tell what this sounds like by the album artwork, which is pretty sweet. So Arcanic Mountain Cult. Then maybe my favorite, Mystic Knights, Melancholic Debts. So this is the first record by them I heard, so I was late to the party, obviously, but oh well, better late than never, I guess. So let me pull this one out too. Definitely the best artwork of the 5, though. This is pretty sweet. I mean, even with the imagery, you can tell it's going to be pretty pagan sounding. But that's not a bad thing, because I like my good dose of pagan black metal. And of course this broke, but oh well. I'll deal with that in a minute. Shit, like I said, even though all the records kind of like sound the same, if you want to get into them, this is the one I suggest to start with. Like I said, pick one and you'll be happy. And then the most recent one from this year, definitely one of my favorite albums of the year so far. This is Par Dele de Crimes. I'm sure I butchered that even though I took 2 years of French, but oh well. Again, like I said, all put out through Paragon, so if you want to get them, look through that label and you will find them for sale. The most simple layout for this one, maybe because it only has 4 songs, they definitely stretched out the songwriting more, which is pretty sweet. So no, that's not a bad thing, because they're definitely like strong enough songs where they actually warrant the longer song length. So like you don't find yourself being bored by the end of the songs. You're like, oh, that was fast, but yep. There you go. So Aldderon, great band, definitely one of the better like pagan black metal bands. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching. So continuing on with the A's next time, and then we'll go to the B's, and then we'll continue on. So yep. I don't want to do this video like every time, just have this video, so I'll think of something to do like in between these, maybe to keep this more interesting or whatever. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do another one of these next. Maybe I'll do something different. Who knows? We'll see. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good day. Hails.